While there is a consensus over climate change scientifically, politically it has been a highly debated topic.
You know, some like me do not believe in climate change and think it's a governmental hoax.
Although I totally believe climate change is real, I believe there are several reasons why this problem will not be resolved for years on. A huge reason is this true political beliefs in federal lobbying done by oil and gas companies. In 2022, oil and gas companies spent $125 million lobbying Congress in order to get bills in their favor. Also, many politicians don't make laws against fossil fuels due to their party base supporting it, and they do not want to use their vote.
These connections are harmful. However, the solution is to not stop fighting against climate change, but to work to elect politicians who don't have these harmful biases. Additionally, to those who believe in climate change, the change in mass of the Greenland ice sheet, the average change in temperatures of the ocean, clearly show a negative change over time.
It's not the solution, but it's a huge help to fight climate change. 29% of carbon emissions come from the car sector. Also, the top 3 companies who have the highest carbon emissions in the U.S. come from the oil and gas sector. So if we were to stop these companies, a majority of the U.S. carbon emissions would decrease.
The world has natural heating and cooling cycles, correct? And right now we're in a heating one. I don't see why this is a cause for massive governmental action and personal change.
Yes, but according to NASA.gov, the climate is changing at a rate not seen in the past 10,000 years. Therefore, this is not a part of the natural heating and cooling cycle. This is a greater concern.
Also, the economy is dependent on the oil and gas industries, so to just abandon it would cause great harm. Over 60% of our economy is based on fossil fuels, so shifting to safer and cleaner practices would risk deteriorating the economy.
I get that a shift could harden our economy. However, a short-term economic downturn is far less of a price to pay than a long-term mass extinction of humans and animals.
A mass extinction seems drastic. What evidence do you have that indicates that we might be headed there?
Currently, the species extinction rate is 1,000 and 10,000 times higher than normal extinction rates. Species are interconnected and depend on each other, so individual species cause the deterioration of other species, which has a chain effect.
A lot of climate change evidence comes from temperatures, correct?
Yes.
How do they find these temperatures?
Thermometers?
Thermometers are fake. They are made by people stuck in the matrix. They are made by people to fuel fake news.
It's not that thermometers are fake, it's that much of the data about climate change is skewed and misinterpreted.
Yes, but that misinterpretation is coming mostly from climate deniers. One tactic that they often use is to set the y-axis scale to be so large that any change looks insignificant. This used by the National Review when they create this chart that puts such a wide range of temperatures that the climate change looks small. However, there is concrete, not skewed evidence for climate change, like changes in precipitation.
Well then, how can there be increased floods and increased droughts at the same time? Those two things contradict each other and prove that climate change is produced by the government in order to increase taxes.
I'm also confused. Please go deeper.
Droughts occur in certain spots of the world due to increase in average temperatures, causing the rate of evaporation to increase. While this water is being evaporated, in other spots of the world there is an increase in heavy rainfall due to higher temperatures causing the moisture in the atmosphere to increase.
So what truly is climate change?
Alright, let me explain the scientific base for climate change. Greenhouse gases absorb light and re-emit it towards the Earth, which warms it naturally. However, humans are increasing the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which means that there is too much heat getting trapped in the atmosphere, causing average global temperatures to rise.
Oh, that makes sense. Now that I understand the scientific basis for climate change, I see why it's happening. But why are rising temperatures such a bad thing? I could use the temperature to get a nice summer tan.
With the rising temperatures comes change in precipitation patterns, causing droughts in some areas and floods in others.
Wow, that sounds terrible. That explains the Duluth flood of 2012, although in why California has been experiencing so many droughts.
This also leads to increased wildfires and melting of icebergs, and can also be harmful to animals in their habitats.
But dude, why does that matter? I will be dead by the time any icebergs melt. I also have evidence that it is a hoax. Climate data from 2009 shows scientists are faking data. Phil Jones, a professor at Easton Jones Climate Research, has emails hacked by fellow climate deniers. They say things like, we are choosing the periods to show warming, and that he was using MITE-script to hide the decline. That sure does sound like they're faking their data.
Actually, fact checkers have found that those emails were taken out of context, and there is no evidence that shows that this data was mishandled or is part of a conspiracy. Mike's trick was only combining the records of temperatures that had been directly recorded by thermometers with the estimates of temperatures from tree rings that they had studied. Overall, the ClimateGate crisis was completely fake and created by climate deniers like you, taking emails out of context to prove a false point.
Well, that's what you believe. But I really benefit from the use of fossil fuels, and I don't want to change my behaviors.
Do you not care about your own life or your kids' life to come in the future? They will be affected by these changes. The planet cannot keep sustaining us if we don't sustain the planet. Scientists predict that we only have 8 years left to make a change, otherwise we won't be able to avoid the worst effects of global warming. For example, parts of Florida are estimated to be a foot underwater due to melting ice glaciers. This will force people to move and relocate to other parts of the United States, leading to overpopulation.
You know, I never thought of the effects on future generations. I don't want them to have to deal with the continued natural disasters. I will try to be better in the future and reduce my carbon emissions.
Fantastic. Why don't we go bike on over to a vegan cafe and grab a bite to eat?
You know, I'm good, but I will lower my carbon emissions in order to help the environment.
Great.
That was a